I am gaming. I am gaming. I am gaming podcast.
Hey everybody, my name is Ivica. Thank you so much for being on the latest episode 52 of I Am Gaming Podcast, a podcast about the video game industry, entrepreneurship, gaming nostalgia, and many more things I find to be in the same realm of creative business and every other kind of venture. This episode continues the streak I started making a few weeks ago about creating Twitter bots, and it's all about my Twitter bot, which is currently up and running. So first of all, you can check out the link in the description below. The bot is called Epic Narrative Keyword Tool, and I made it using 3 bots done quick, an amazing tool for creating cheap and virtually free. It's better to call them free because they're free Twitter bots with a lot of restrictions, to be honest, that stop you from being a spammer, super spammer tool that somebody uses for their own purposes. But it's definitely something I'm enjoying immensely. I'm exploring how it works and setting up a bot sometime now, and finally it's finished. So check it out in the link in the description below. It works like this. It's a bot I built using 3 bots done quick to generate different narratives. So it could be helpful to anyone who is in the writing community, game development community, comic book community, anything and everything that uses narrative plot lines, stories that are turned into different kinds of artworks and products that are sold, like in the case of movies or video games. How it works. It's a super simple setup. I'm going to make a video about the whole process of creating Epic Narrative Keyword Tool, but essentially it has 6 nodes of individual databases. These nodes are genre, environment, protagonist, goal, antagonist, and outcome. So every tweet it creates by randomly connecting elements from these 6 individual databases. In the case of genre, those are classical genres like action, comedy, adventure, thriller, or anything else. Environment includes the setting. Where does the story take place? Is it a major city? Is it a village? Is it a fantasy land? Is it a post-apocalyptic landscape of destruction? That's the second node. The third node is protagonist. Who is the main character? Is it a boy, a girl, a woman, a man, an older person, an infant, a soldier, a baker, a detective? So it's both personal traits, professional traits, anything that defines the main character or the protagonist. There's the goal. The goal can be something like cure a family curse, or rob a bank, or free a captured animal. So anything that the protagonist does. The second before last element the database used here is the antagonist, who is a character that's standing between that protagonist and them getting their goal. So this could be someone like a corrupt customs agent, or an evil priest, or anything else I put in this individual node. Lastly, we have the outcome. The outcome is a pretty limited category. I'm going to expand it probably the least because I'm not sure how to take it both in terms of logic and in terms of language. Outcome is happy ending, ambiguous ending, it was all a dream ending. Those are currently only elements I'm using for outcome, but I'm gonna work on ways to semantically, logically, linguistically expand these as well. What does my Twitter bot do? Epic Narrative Keyword Tool takes these nodes, shuffles them around, and produces a single plot. So let me read you some examples it's created so far. This is from November 6th. A story of romance set in a rundown town. It follows a crafty librarian who has to free a special wild beast. A human trafficker stands in the way. It culminates in a cliffhanger ending. November 7th, fable of sci-fi set in a desolate landscape. It follows an animal trainer who has to stop a gang war. A human trafficker stands in the way. It culminates in an "it was all a dream" ending. Last, a tale of tragedy set in an unnamed country. It follows a man who has to end a curse. A criminal mastermind stands in the way. It culminates in a happy ending. So that's the Epic Narrative Twitter tool. I'm going to add more elements from top of my head or anything that I come across, someone suggests to me, in each of those nodes, and potentially even add further nodes like an object, something that the protagonist has to use to get to the goal. The bot will continue growing. It will continue pushing out narratives, and I'm really interested in seeing how people react to it, or if I can make it diverse enough to be interesting in a couple of weeks, months, even a year or two from now. So I wanted to create this bot so I can prove to myself that I understand the whole concept, and it's done. So it's up and running. Pretty glad about it, pretty happy how it turned out. I'm hoping it's going to grow and expand even further, make itself even more interesting. But please check it out in the link in the description below. You can find it at twitter.com/epickeywordtool. Please check it out if you find it interesting. Follow it, share a few stories if you found them interesting. And yeah, that's it. You can expect a video on a tutorial. It's going to be a tutorial video on creating Twitter bots for free using 3 bots done quick, probably in the next week or two. That should also be useful if you're considering creating something like this. Of course, the Twitter bot tutorial will come with a lot of explanations of what is possible, what should be avoided, so you can't make it into a spamming powerhouse of link sending, which we all kind of want to do, but it still can be a lot of fun and maybe even useful. So thank you so much for checking out this episode, and especially thank you so much if you have been following the whole Twitter bot adventure I've been on this podcast. It's my first major project inside of the whole podcast, I'm Gaming Podcast project. So it's a micro project in a slightly bigger project, and I hope you found it interesting. Of course, if you're a first time viewer, come on, subscribe to my channel. Why won't you do it? It's just right there. Click on the link, click on the button actually, and you'll get my notifications whenever I push out another video. And also I'll be super happy to see I have a new follower or a new subscriber. Finally, a huge thanks to all of my Patreon supporters who make this podcast and me creating things like an epic narrative keyword tool possible. Without them, I wouldn't have the impulse and the physical backing or financial backing to keep doing this stuff. If you want to join them, check out my Patreon page. $1 per month would be perfect from you if you can spare it. That's all for me. This was episode 52 of I'm Gaming Podcast. Check out Epic Narrative Keyword Tool, check out all of my links, subscribe, and I'll see you, I'll hear you, I'll talk to you on my new episode exactly a week from now. Until then, bye bye and have a great day.